How many times have you been canceled?
Today, this week, last month, when one real cancellation. I literally tried to kill myself.
What? I thought this was a bit. Is this real?
Now I'm feeling a lot better. I started realizing that streaming and content creation isn't everything.
Do you think you're misunderstood as a streamer?
Absolutely. I'm probably the most misunderstood streamer, and I will stand on that. I think people really believe I'm some monster, terrible person.
But when you're saying these things, would you say you're rage baiting?
Andrea,
recently?
you know me very well. I'm a giant troll, right? So I troll all the time. When you're in clip form, that's when people take you seriously. I'm not some serious dude. I'm not even political. I don't know anything. I still personally believe Obama's in office. I just don't want to move on. I have no idea what's going on.
You also joked you don't know how much longer your streaming career is going on for. Do you mean that?
I do think Twitch is dying. Twitch is down 25% in viewership. Just the truth is no one's watching Twitch as much. The oversaturation has killed it. Ads are so bad on Twitch. You cannot watch live streaming without ad blocker. So if you're not willing to pay, Twitch is not watchable.
So, how many times have you been canceled?
Let's see. Today, this week, last month, when?
Can you count in your career?
The actual cancellations are just like
Actual, where
go
like
for actual.
real cancellations?
yes,
One.
not many.
One.
And that's
One real cancellation. One where I was like, my career is like, oh my God, this is like a sinking ship and I need to get all my animals off my ship. One. But
which one was that
what
one?
animals did you want to get off your ship?
Well, I back then I had a cat and a rabbit and just was like, I got to save them because my career is probably going to die. So I was like messaging people to like take my animals because I'm probably going to die.
Wait, like you thought you were going to end it all because of being canceled, or you're joking?
No, I'm not joking. I think you guys know that I tried killing myself.
What?
No.
I never told you I tried killing myself
No.
over the...
I thought this was a bit. Is
No?
this real?
Yeah, I literally tried to kill myself.
When?
Like December of 2022.
I
I got canceled.
What was the cancellation over?
The Adriana Lee stuff.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
How did you attempt?
How did I attempt to kill myself?
Yes.
First I had some Mr. Beast milk chocolate, and then after that,
Oh, God.
I realized how bad that was. That I was like, this is the final straw, and pulled the straw out, tried it again, still wasn't good. And how did I try? I took a bunch of pills. I took the Xannies and popped them. I woke up like 20 hours later.
Did you actually want to die?
Well, when you're trying to kill yourself, you got to realize something. You're partially not even realizing that you're trying to kill yourself. I almost just saw it as like, I almost felt like my body at that point was like, I was partially out of it all the time. Like think of like third person view.
Disassociation?
Yeah. Like think of third person view in GTA. That's how I felt most of the time because I just hated being alive so much. That's how bad you have to be to really want to die. And I was there. So when that was happening, I didn't even feel like I was killing myself when I was doing it. I really just felt like I was going to sleep forever. That's how I thought about it. I wasn't thinking death. I was thinking more like I just want to sleep and never wake up.
Did you experience this a lot before the cancellation? Was it like a common feeling, or was it just triggered really badly because of what you're going through?
Yeah, the cancellation made me want to kill myself.
Yeah, this was the darkest moment of your life, I guess.
No, probably this podcast is like right there now.
That's
you were
fair.
20 minutes late, which is ridiculous.
But
I was sitting
Andrea's-
outside with two homeless people the entire time.
You mean me and Andrea?
No, I
Those
was
are
waiting for
your-
two homeless people, but
Those
two
are
homeless
your
people were sitting by.
coworkers now.
Well, it's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Andrea's always late. If you want her to
No,
show up
I'm usually
somewhere,
on
you need to
time, but
show-
today
give her,
was a
like,
rough
20
day.
minutes
Today
early.
was a rough one. But back to this. Did anyone intervene, or what happened after? And
How
then we
did you
can
get
move
out
on
of
to a
it?
lighter topic.
Yeah.
Get out of what?
Like this
This
wanting to
really
die and
dark
cancellation
start,
and
but
thinking your
something I
career's
never knew,
over.
so
I thought I told you guys.
I never knew
No.
this.
Oh, how'd I get out of it wanting to kill myself? I think just time. Wasn't really therapy. Therapy didn't really do shit for me. Just time. Just my brain getting over it just slowly. Just like hardens to some different level where you just stop caring about things as much.
Is that why you feel like now you don't care about things?
Yeah, I just truly don't care because I'm an emotionalist in a lot of ways because of it.
Well, do you think you started like that when you were streaming, or did you just get more numb as time went on?
No, that basically, I wasn't numb up until that point. That was just the point where I became very numb. I'm numb now.
Well, by numb,
Pinch me.
I mean completely unfiltered and not really fearing that if anything will get clipped, they could cancel you or something like that.
No, numb as in like, I feel like think of an ice cream cone and like, I'm just a cone now. Like, where's the ice cream? It's gone. The fuck happened to my ice cream?
Do you think you're going to get that ice cream back?
Probably not. I'm not Probably not. I mean,
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean, it's going to take time, like on a serious note, but I do think you'll eventually refill it.
Now, well, I mean, right now it's filled with Mr. Beast protein, so I'm still feeling pretty depressed.
He's
You
making
said
up
you were
for
lactose intolerant. Did you poop yourself after?
No, I only took a couple sips of it, but I do feel bad that the clip immediately got 1 million views in a day on my YouTube, and I kind of feel bad for
I'm sure
Jimmy.
you feel really bad. I'm sure the
because-
views make you feel really bad.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
Like, what did you expect?
I didn't expect us to rate his chocolate, so
I thought it'd be so obvious it was going to go down like that.
then why would you guys get involved?
I don't know. That was what I was saying, but it was so
Honestly,
obvious. I don't think
thought there
Ludwig
was
faked it.
no way it was going to be the worst one from all of them.
I knew it.
Me too.
was
I thought
gonna
I was
happen.
like, okay, it's got to be like maybe the second worst one. There's no way it's that bad. I thought Ludwig was joking, but it was really the worst one, tasting wise, out of all of them.
I don't think Ludwig would harm that relationship faking it. Quick break from the episode. If you're enjoying the conversation, we have a lot more on our Patreon. We post 3 monthly episodes and we have other exclusive and BTS content. You also can ask questions for the guests and influence and have discussions with us on Discord. So link in the description. Now back to the episode. Back to the ice cream cone. So you don't think that you've gotten progressively happier over the years, or have you noticed any upwards slope?
Is this too depressing of a conversation? Do we need to?
No,
No.
I'm genuinely
I want to hear like
curious.
your actual truth.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, you should just say it.
Oh, well, I mean,
I want you to like actually say what you mean, as long as you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2 years, I was basically numb. I would say now I'm feeling a lot better. It's not really through therapy for me. I took a lot of antidepressants for a while. I meditated. I started reading a lot. I worked out. I started realizing that streaming and content creation isn't everything. Because for so long, for like 8 years, that's all I thought it was life. So now I don't care as much, but that's definitely helped out a lot. So I'm feeling better. There's definitely a little bit of ice cream in there, but it's basically like this. Look at this thing. This is basically where my ice cream's at right now. It's about this layer, and instead of my eye, it's probably in the back of my brain right here. So we're hoping that it fills up, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, if Jimmy keeps sending me care packages, probably not.
Stop shouting out Jimmy.
For what it's worth, the chocolate bars taste a lot better. No, I know there's no saving our reaction to that video.
Well, I mean, yes, there is. It's like taco. Like, think about it with Trump. Whenever he removes something, he always puts it back, right? It's the same thing with Jimmy. He put this out there. He's hearing critiques. I'm sure there's a piece of him that hates what I said, but he'll probably also understand it. And he'll probably read it and go, okay, like, I'm going to try to make this taste better because people are saying it's not as good tasting, because it's not.
And actually,
sorry, you can have protein, you can have calories, whatever, but it's just not as good tasting. I'm going to be honest with my review.
and his milk chocolate, they had to iterate on it a few times before it got to the better flavor that it is now.
We can't keep just balancing between deep dark depression and Mr. Beast chalky milk. Like, everyone's gonna be so confused. Can we like finish the milk convo or finish the
let's
depression
move on.
convo?
Well, I think the depression convo is actually more interesting. Do you think in general cancellations are ever deserved, or do you think it's just like so far blown out because people listen to one story and just react?
Cancellations are 1000% deserved. But there's a lot of cancellations that don't to be deserved. Mine didn't deserve. I did not deserve to be canceled at all. I didn't do anything. I literally did nothing. But I got accused of so many things I didn't do. Someone else that didn't deserve to be canceled at all, in my opinion, was Call Me Carson. I don't think he deserved to be canceled at all. He was 19. She was 17. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Is that really a problem here? But now he's labeled a pedophile to so many communities over nothing. And he's fortunately got his community back, which is great, but I didn't agree with it back then that he was canceled, and I still don't. I tried bringing him on my stream one time just for a second, and literally everyone attacked me, being like, you're harboring a pedophile. And it's like, nowadays, that's light work for Mizkif, so I didn't really mind that. But, back then it was like, wow, Miz, you are done. And I was like, for what? Because this kid's 19, she was 17, who cares? But everyone removed him from his life, and he did not deserve it at all. I feel bad for him, because he still is removed from those groups.
Damn. I needed to take a second after that one.
That's how I felt with the Mr. Beast protein.
Please stop shitting on his protein.
No, I think the 19 to 17 age gap is a really tough one. I'm not tough as in like there's Actually, you know what? Okay, hold on. This one's a tricky because anything will get clipped out of context. So I'm just gonna ask the next question.
Interesting. So like, we're bringing in Miz here, and like he's sort of past the point where he cares about being clipped, but you and I.
Well, not being clipped. It's more just I would have to sit and think carefully about how to word myself. But yeah,
word
I
what?
mean, no. 19 and 7. I guess it's
They're
like
just
where do you draw
numbers.
the line? 19 and 17, I agree. What about 16 and 19?
No, it's weird.
So I guess it's just a 2-year. What about 15 and 17?
Listen, if they're under the age of 18, they're 15, 17, you can say what? That's like a sophomore and senior in high school or junior. It could be a junior. That's not weird. You know,
I
A
agree
lot
with the
of
2-year
times
age gap.
women-
here's how I would see it, especially in America. It goes like this. If you were in high school, let's say one was a freshman and one's a junior, and then now they're still dating, and then he's in college and she's still in high school, whatever, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you're like a freshman or sophomore in high school, in college, and you're going after, a high schooler, I think that's weird. Like when you're in college or that area, you should be just in college in that area. I think leave the high school part behind. It is a weird, iffy subject, but the Call Me Carson shit was just so blown out of proportion that
Yep.
I still believe it's wrong. He should not have been canceled in the slightest. But cancel
who do you
culture
think
is
deserved
pretty
to
much.
get canceled who didn't?
Who do you think does? Who what?
Who do you think deserved to get canceled but didn't?
Mr. Beast with this fucking protein. I mean, no,
Stop.
I really don't think anyone deserves to be canceled the way cancellation happens, unless it's like they deserve to be canceled, which usually
You're
happens.
truly a terrible person.
So why
doing
do you
evil
think
things.
nobody deserves to be canceled in general?
Well, no, in general, people deserve to be canceled. But the thing is, I don't think the way it used to be done, which was really before the past year or two, it was just basically every person ever would be canceled for everything, and they would really just lose everything. But nowadays, it's almost impossible to cancel someone for a plethora of reasons. But one of them is short form content has made it impossible because yes, some other community might hate you, but there's so many people that watch shorts nowadays. It's basically the mainstream way of people who watch things that sure, this one little crevice might hear this thing about you that you're a terrible person or a pedophile. It doesn't matter. There's so many people nowadays that so many people didn't hear that story that people just move on. And also those people are still existing. You know, when the thing is with Twitch, when a story would happen for us, the whole community would hear it. So they would just lose those followers or friends and they'd be thrown away.
The days when live stream fails was
When live stream fails was
yeah.
the reason in like the newspaper. But nowadays, shit doesn't matter. And it's a good thing, right? I think it's a great thing because I think cancel culture is ridiculous and the way people do it, especially. But there's also a con to it where nowadays clips get taken so out of context so fast all the time. And it ruins people's reputations. Like I saw people claiming that Jason the Ween knew about David and that whole accusation before, or he was defending him ever. It's like the kid is 21. He defended his friend. He thought it was someone he knew. And the story came out. It was completely wrong. Okay. He didn't know. Right. Just like I didn't know when Mr. Beast gave us that protein, it would be that bad. I had no clue. So it's the same thing with Jason.
Yeah.
Do you regret anything you've said on stream ever?
Do I regret things? I mean, yeah, I wish I didn't say things that would get clipped out of context. I wish those sentences, I just went to the bathroom, but I didn't. Like, there's so many other worse things I've said that weren't clipped. And there's so many good things I didn't.
Is there anything that you think was clipped not out of context that you regret?
No.
But when you're saying these things, would you say you're rage baiting or doing it for comedic purposes? Like
Andrea,
recently?
you know me very well. I'm a giant troll, right? So everything I say,
troll.
yes. So I troll all the time. But then you get that clip where people like, oh, look, he said so-and-so deserves to die. When like, no, I didn't. I make jokes.
So it's when they take what you say seriously.
Yeah, everyone takes, but it's the problem is when you're in clip form, that's when people take you seriously. It's why my community's like, we still love Miz because they know Miz is just a troll. That's all I ever am. That's all I ever want to be. I'm not some serious dude. I'm not even political. I don't know anything. I still personally believe Obama's in office. I just don't want to move on. I have no idea what's going on. So when people are like, oh, dude, you're right wing now, bro? No. Oh, so you're a left wing political streamer. I'm hardly a streamer. I go live 2 days a week.
Do you think you're misunderstood as a streamer?
Absolutely. I'm probably the most misunderstood streamer, and I will stand on that. I think people really believe I'm some monster, terrible person I have a lot of content creators or YouTubers or streamers, whatever, that like are like, that guy's a bad dude. They don't know me.
So it's
They just-
mainly because they make their assumptions off of clips.
Probably clips and probably just people talking from behind the scenes being like, did you hear that Mizkif said that about this? And then they're just like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. Or
But
like
Miz-
Mr. Beast being like, hey, he said that about my chocolate. It's like, okay, well, I get that one. I'm sorry.
There's going to be a hearing in Congress where they're inviting Discord, Reddit, and Twitch CEOs to speak about, I don't know, radicalization. But do you think that Twitch should moderate politics more?
Or any streamers in particular.
Listen, if you had my opinion on what should go on Twitch, it is very simple. You get the political streamers and you put them in their own little small subject or section on Twitch. Take all the ads out because they're the reason why ads are destroyed on Twitch. Let them have their little spot and then just let them be there and live. But yes, they should have a spot on Twitch because regardless, you can't take away politics on Twitch. That, in my opinion, is censorship. You're taking away politics. It's not okay. You should let people be able to speak. You should be able to let people talk. Do I think anything's going to happen with the whole Congress shit? No way. I think that Discord makes sense. Yeah, Discord's a place where people type the craziest shit ever. There's fucking pedophile rings that live on Discord. There's people that have, sex trafficking goes through Discord and shit. What happens on Twitch? I mean, come on. There's one outlier in all those. Like Steam, what are we doing here? Why is Steam there? Why is Gabe Newell showing up to this thing?
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
why is Twitch showing up? Is it purely because of the
Here's
song
why.
drama?
The guy who did this whole thing, who invited all of them, his name is Mr. Coomer. Comer. Okay?
I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
So Mr. Coomer is just inviting some of the biggest Coomers, Dan Clancy, right? Of course.
Don't
partners
call Dan a Coomer.
partners all the girl streamers.
Dan doesn't need to be attacked.
So Dan partners to all the girl streamers, right? Dan, Gabe Newell's a Coomer. We all know it. We've all known it since CSGO. All right.
I don't know who that is.
Skype or whatever the fuck, whoever.
Skype
Discord.
is-
The guy who made Discord's definitely a Coomer, right? He's in those not
Coomers
safe for work
unite.
groups. Yeah. And he's like, come on down. Let's all have a gooning session. Just talk about what the hell's
You
going
think
on.
they're just gonna show up and all jack off, or what?
I think they're just going to show each other some sick hentai, and I really hope I can be there.
You shouldn't have a sign be like Coomers Unite.
That's what I think's happening. I don't think it's anything serious. I think it's just like, yeah man, just wanted to meet you.
They're getting together to just jerk each other off.
It feels like Twitch has gone drastically different from when we were actually streaming. Where do you think the current meta is now? Do you think Twitch is going to survive?
It's a very interesting question. So you're talking to a guy that has lived, breathed, and eaten only Twitch content for 15 years. I've literally lived. I think I know Twitch more than anyone else, and I will say that to Dan's face or any other streamer.
Can you take us from the start to where we are now?
What?
Like how Twitch started, or at least when you were there, and where it's evolved and where you think it's going?
Yeah, so I started watching Twitch in like 2010, 11, and then it got bought out by Amazon, and everyone was terrified when it did, but they also were excited because this thing called Prime Gaming happened with Twitch Prime. Things were great, and Twitch was a growing platform because I think streaming was just such an interesting thing back then. It was really interesting. The communities were new and fresh. Every idea was fresh, and things were progressing very well. What happened is, I think COVID, before COVID, think of it this way. Here's what's going on. Before COVID, you guys remember how there were like metas. Games
Yes.
lasted on Twitch.
Like Among Us would pop off, everybody would play.
Rush.
that was during COVID.
Yeah.
But before COVID, there was metas. There were so many different metas of games, whether it was Hearthstone, whether it was League, that people were just like, I'm going to play this and I'm probably going to get viewers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore. You play games on Twitch, your viewership
Yeah.
goes down.
Yep.
Tim the Tapman said this a few months ago.
So
Twitch
sad.
is not a gaming website anymore. It's a live streaming IRL
True.
section. It is. But here's what's going on. Ice Poseidon started IRL streaming. He really blew it up in like 2015, right? He's one of the first creators that ever really grew with IRL. And IRL has really blown up the past 2 or 3 years, especially with the FaZe kids and Kai and all of them. But remember when Ninja had Drake on with Travis Scott? How that was like a worldwide event that you had to watch because it was not, they weren't even on stream. Their voices were just heard while they were playing
Yeah.
Fortnite. The bandage clip, he had like hundreds of thousands of viewers that people were just like, oh my God, Drake knows what Twitch is and Travis Scott. But nowadays we have gone so far with this thing that just a week ago, I saw Caseoh have Benny Blanco and
Ed Sheeran
and Lil Dicky or Ed Sheeran, and I literally will just close the tab because I'm just like this. I don't care because it's so oversaturated with celebrity guests and people constantly like. Everyone knows what streamers are now. Streaming is huge, but what's interesting is streaming is big and growing, in my opinion, not through watching, but through just clips because it's so easy. It's Stable Ronaldo can do a stream and get 5,000 clips, literally 5,000 clips, and just only 10 of them do really well. But that's still insane. What other job can you do that? This podcast isn't going to get 10,000 clips.
No, but it'll get 10.
It might get 10, but like a YouTube video, you can't do that. And when you're trying to make clips, you can't make 5,000 a day. But as a streamer, because you have communities constantly posting your clips, it blows it up so much. So that's why everyone knows what streamers are now, but no one watches. And it's shown this year alone, Twitch is down 25% in viewership. Just this year alone. Is
all of live streaming like YouTube Live,
yes,
etc.?
It's all dying. It's all going down year by year. We are now down from the peaks of COVID. We are down 45%. Now, that is a scary number because Twitch still hasn't fixed its botting problem, which is huge on Twitch, which if they got rid of that, that would probably reduce it by another 10% as they saw. So if they got rid of the bots and they fixed all their problems, you would see Twitch down probably about 60%. And the thing that's scary is you got girls or people in general like this. When we were growing, you, me, all of us, Twitch felt like if you put in the work, if you got like a platform, if you put in the work, you were going to see higher highs and grow, right? Mm-hmm. But nowadays,
doesn't feel like that.
Not at all. Extra Emily is probably, in my opinion, one of the greatest streamers right now. That girl has had a 5-month like growth spurt of insanity. She's gotten 500,000 followers. She's huge on TikTok. She's so well known. She's known by everybody. She's super popular. And she has all this growth. Kai knows her. She was in streaming university. She blew up and she's doing so much work. One day she called me. She was in New York. Then she went all the way to the UK and she came back. Then she went to Hawaii. Then she came back. She called me one day. She's like, Miz, because we always talk about it. So she's like, I'm at like fucking 8,000 viewers. What the hell? I'm like, I don't get it either. How are you back at where you were before all this crap when you've gotten 400,000 new followers? Where are they going? Who are these 400,000 followers? And I think it's really just the truth is no one's watching Twitch as much for multiple reasons. One, I think the oversaturation has killed it. Two, I believe the ads are so bad on Twitch, and it's not just me, it's everyone knows this. The ads are so bad, you cannot watch live streaming without either an ad blocker or you definitely need Twitch Turbo. So if you're not willing to pay or you cannot find an ad blocker, dude, Twitch is not watchable because Twitch did this stupid fucking thing that bothers me every day where they allow you to go up to 22 minutes of ads an hour. If you're going to let people make more money, they're going to try to do that, right? And the Phase kids and all the newcomers have just blasted their ads to 18 minutes. And they're like, see, everyone's watching. We only do 18 minutes and they still watch. That's not true. People are not watching because of that shit. You might have a lot of viewers that watch that, but you're not getting, you would have way more viewers if you weren't spamming ads, but Twitch lets them do it because they want to make more money. And now the norm, okay, so I told Twitch, because Twitch's ad revenue is down. Like, the ads are down 70% from just last year. It's down so much. And I went to Twitch. I said, hey, what do I do about this? What do I do about the fact that my ads are so far down? And he said, well, double your ads. That's what everyone else is doing. I'm like, double? What do you mean? He said, yeah, put it to 12 minutes. Jeez. I said, 12 minutes is what I watched when I watched SpongeBob. You think my content's as good as SpongeBob SquarePants? That's what I deserve? He's like, everyone else does it. The Phase kids do 15 minutes. What? Why are we doing 15 minutes of ads? For Twitch, we're not that good. We don't deserve to do 15 minutes. And I think that's killing the platform. So one, I think oversaturation. Two, of content, everything's being done. Kai and Speed have just taken it to the moon. And now it's not even interesting to see fucking celebrities. Two, its ads are absolutely destroying it. I think ads are killing it. And three, I believe when we were around, and I know I'm talking a lot, but the communities were very connected. It felt like everyone knew each other. Everyone was friends. Yeah. We all were connected. And nowadays, between the cataclysms of drama that have happened and all the fighting that has gone on, between that and also there's just so many new sections of community members and people growing that no one knows. It's just the Twitch website doesn't feel like a website of a group anymore. It feels, it doesn't feel like a community. It feels like it's just a website of streaming. And I think that really hurts Twitch because that bond we all used to have, we all knew each other. That made it fun. It felt like it was a group. Now it feels like it's just I
agree. That's why, I mean, as toxic as LSF was, I think it stands for the fact that everyone would check it every day to see who is doing. Definitely didn't like that Reddit server at all. But I just think everyone was so tapped into who was streaming.
Yeah, it felt like there was a community and LSF was the place. But nowadays with clips, it has made LSF completely worthless. And now clips have just taken over where there's some streamers I know that get 2,000 viewers, but get more clip views than I do.
Yep.
It's like, what? You get 200 million a month in clips, but you have 2,000 viewers? Mm-hmm. Everyone stops you in the street, but you have 2,000 viewers? How? That wouldn't even be a reality when we were growing. Like if you were on LSF for like 4 or 5 times, you were a known streamer.
I mean, a lot of people now have clippers that they pay to get the best moments from their stream and just like pump them on TikTok and on Instagram. Do you think that's what the new meta is? Do you think there is anything you could do if you actually want to grow on Twitch?
I think growing on Twitch is something that I truly believe is a dying breed. I believe, because some kids came up to me today at the car meet and they're like, hey, how do I grow on Twitch? I'm like, you don't. The truth is, I don't see it. I mean, even the face kids are struggling a lot with viewership. I think that Kai's friend group struggles a lot with viewership.
Didn't Kai break like 600,000 subs?
So Kai is at 600,000 subscribers, but is that really that impressive, his viewership?
What's his viewership at?
100,000, 150,000. To put in perspective, XQC used to average, when he was at his peak, 100,000 viewers every single day playing GTA 6.
Okay,
and now
question about the peak, because you were bringing up numbers during COVID, but that was extremely inflated. Like you said, viewership is down 60%, but obviously way more people in the world were watching during COVID because everyone was at home. So do you think those numbers are also inflated?
Oh, absolutely. I think that Twitch numbers were inflated massively, but I believe the numbers started to drop dramatically just this last year or two, and it's because actually, there's another reason why. I completely forgot. It's not just oversaturation. It's not just the ads. It's also games suck. Things don't last. Games don't last on Twitch anymore. They last a day, 2. When a game used to come out in 2018, 19, 20, 21, and during COVID, even up to 2023, it felt like the game would last on Twitch for like a week or 2 at least. Nowadays, you have to play the game in 24 hours. And Chance Sodapoppin does this now. He's like, you have to play a game within the first 24 hours or it's done. And it's the truth because games don't last. People don't care to watch games like they used to. And I don't know if that's because they felt like they've seen every kind of game or it's just not interesting or there's no new game that's really caught anyone's eye, like a combative fighting game. But the last game that truly stuck on Twitch is Valorant. That's the last game that has really stapled itself. And now maybe Marvel Rivals, but not as much. And
do you think
that's a problem.
Is dead overall or just on Twitch?
I think gaming's definitely not dead. Gaming is alive and thriving. I think people, it's a lot of small games, a lot of more indie games I think people are playing. Gaming's still big on Twitch. Caseoh is still a monster. Caseoh gets 1 million views per YouTube video and he's insanely famous and gets like 60,000 viewers. So gaming is still there. But he's also an anomaly. You can't just say like, oh, he does it because people are going to say that in the comments. Well, Caseoh, 60,000 viewers. Yes, but he's an anomaly. It's everyone else is not. It doesn't work. What
makes him an anomaly? Just because he's really good and better than everyone else, or what?
I think Caseoh, in my opinion, is just one of those. He's the most relatable. He's like the nicer, better version, like in terms of better as in like more globally recognizable or visible is of a Greek. So like when we were growing, Greek was loved. Why? Because Greek was fat. Easy to make jokes. God. It's so easy to make jokes about Greek. Greek, you're fat. Lol, you're fat. Everyone loves making fun of the fat guy. And fat guys are always funnier. It's true. And Caseoh, since he's fat,
why you're so funny.
Being fat is a worldwide thing that everyone loves making fun of America for. Dude, you're fat. It's everyone. Bullies love it. Kids love it. It makes you feel better about yourself. And Caseoh, and this is very good credit to him, he's able to take that and not bring it to hate. He's able to take that and see, oh, this is some joking around. So he makes memes and he lets them do their thing. And that has grown him tremendously. So now he's this huge superstar and he deserves it. But I think being fat has made him, it's very accessible. Everyone can make fat jokes. It's so easy.
Do you think you lost viewership when you lost weight?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Have you ever thought of putting back a couple pounds just to grow back up there?
A couple pounds for a couple viewers?
Maybe more than a couple pounds. You wouldn't make that sacrifice?
I just don't see, even if I became fat again, it's like, but for what? Like, I'm 30. Am I really going to be like, oh, chat, look, I'm fat again. Like, let's go back to 2019.
It's a bad joke.
I want to go
You made
back
a joke?
Shut up.
to Twitch just really quick. Do you think there's anything that can save it?
Yeah, there will be. So, in my opinion, I think Twitch will continuously go down in viewership over the next year. And the reason why I say that is I think nothing new is coming out. I think oversaturation is killing this website. People's numbers are only going down. And I think that it's going to continue to go like that. But I think that IRL is done. Now, IRL is taken over.
But you think it's done?
I don't think IRL is really... I think IRL can have its moments, but it's too oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen too much. It's way too hard to go to the next level. And that was so exciting about IRLs. What's next?
Yeah.
You've seen everything.
Yeah.
You see these events happening nowadays. Like I told Extra Emily, she went to Hawaii to this whole Pokemon event with Your Age, Cinna, and Agent.
Yeah.
4 people that have a lot of chemistry right now. It didn't get them any more viewers than normal or even less.
Damn.
And it's back like a couple years ago, it'd be like, dude, holy shit, they're traveling to IRL. Nowadays, who cares? I'll just see the clips because it's not anything new going on in the IRL scene, or it's not anything new. And it's oversaturated as fuck. You see a new celebrity on everyone's stream because celebrities are now trying to come into Twitch. And that kind of ruins it because what people love about streamers is that he feels like he's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I relate to him. But nowadays, a lot of it doesn't feel relatable. It feels you guys make so much money and you're almost like celebrities yourselves that it kind of takes away. And someone that I think people love and still has such a core community that isn't dying at all is E-Rob. And I think E-Rob, the reason why he's doing so well is because he still has this like core community where, yeah, E-Rob, he ain't doing well in life. Like everyone knows that. But a dollar does help E-Rob. Like, and like, it because he lives in some shitty ass apartment in Austin and his whole life's a mess. Right. But
bro, import you wrong.
No, but it does well. And he has such a chat that loves him for it because they feel that he's a human. When a lot of streamers nowadays, it feels like they're, they've got like selfish, bratty, over entitled, rich. And is that really someone you want to sit there and watch hours for? No. But you're going to watch their clips? Yeah.
So if I had held a gun to your head and I said, you need to stream to 50,000 concurrent viewers or I shoot, what would you do?
I would go live and fuck my sister.
Jesus. I mean, that's a pretty good answer. It would probably get... Well, I don't know, because you'd get banned pretty quickly, so
I don't think so. Dan Clancy's the Coomer, so if you don't give a fuck. Dan's going to be in Congress on October 8th. Do you think he's like, yeah, man, whatever. Miz is doing that. I don't give a shit.
Okay, serious question. What if you weren't allowed to do rage bait? Would you just die? Or
if I wasn't able to troll?
Yeah.
As a streamer. So if you told me if I took Adderall every day?
What? You could take Adderall every day. That wouldn't get you. No, I'm saying like you have to get to 50,000 viewers, but you can't do rage bait like fucking your sister.
How's that rage bait? That's exciting for everyone.
Okay, you can't do porn. How about no porn?
Okay, I can't do porn, but I have to get to 50,000 viewers.
Yeah. No, you can't use your body. You can't sell your body.
You can't sell your body, and you can't do something
you have to
that
use
would
your
like
wits.
Go wild because it's pissing people off. Like
it could be
like if you I don't know went and got people handicapped and pretended they were getting swatted. Like you can't do stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I sometimes hit 20 to 25K. So to hit 50K, what I would probably do, I would probably 50,000 people. What would I do? I go skydiving. Boom.
Really?
Yeah, I think that would do it. You can get a Starlink, put that up. I'd jump out, skydive.
Would you be afraid to skydive?
No, you have a gun in the back of my head. I'd rather just jump out of the plane.
You don't think that's too risky for 50,000?
No.
I mean, you got a tattoo live on stream.
Yeah, and I went down in viewers getting it.
But it was also the day that Charlie Kirk happened, because and literally at the same time. So.
It's not even about the Charlie Kirk thing.
This would be a good time for you to throw a rest in peace,
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die. Period.
That's good.
That's it.
Good.
Okay, good.
Okay, next.
Okay, let's continue.
Is skydiving worth it? Absolutely. Yeah, I would jump out of a plane in a second. If you had a gun in the back of my head, you're going to kill me? Sure.
So you also joked the other day when we were on your stream that like you don't know how much longer your streaming career is going on for. Do you mean that or are you just joking?
Oh, no, I'm dead serious. I have a timeline.
What's your timeline?
Probably like a year and a half.
Really?
Why is that it?
Well, I mean, for me, I think that I never want to be streaming, and you guys know this, it's very obvious. It's something that takes over your life. If you want to be good at it and you want to do well, it's something that takes over your life to the point where you have no life. Like, I literally have no life. I can go out and have fun and drink or do stuff.
Do you think it's improved since you've moved from Austin to LA?
Absolutely. But I'm not going to pretend that it's still not my life. It's been my life for 15 years. I 2011 is when I started really watching Twitch. I mean, I haven't had a life in 14 years, and I will like I do stuff, but especially the last 8, I've been so involved. It's streaming's not a job; it's a lifestyle.
Was it worth it?
I mean, I've made a lot of people laugh. That's really like if you ask me, that's the first thing I would say. I've also, made a lot of people angry, so emotions have definitely been involved. But I've also made a lot of money, so I made my accountant happy.
Is there anything you want to do after Twitch?
That's the hard part. It's like, what do I do after?
Yeah.
For me, I like to make people laugh. So
You join the
What about
Botez Podcast.
I mean, even outside of our podcast, I actually think you'd have a banger podcast. You're really funny.
yeah, but the question is, if I did that podcast, would Mr. Beast go on it? Probably not.
And would that then take over your life the same way Twitch did?
No, couldn't. Twitch is
I
something
agree.
where you know how it is. If you're going to stream a lot, your chat's
Twitch is
bitching.
different.
I don't go live. Ugh, look who's not live. Like they bitch, they complain. You're dealing with basically man children all day. And I love them. I love my chat, but it's not something I ever wanted to do forever. I do want to, relax. I do want to take time to myself. I do want to reset my brain a little bit and get some of that ice cream back. Because right now, I get a little bit back here and there, but when I'm off, when I take my days off now, I truly enjoy them. I used to just like plan, stream, look at analytics, look at this. Nowadays, when I do walk away, I walk away from Twitch. I don't even look at my computer. I walk away. I try to do anything else because that life to me, it's also just gotten toxic. It's like the internet nowadays is very tense. And it's partially why I've gotten in trouble for some of my jokes and things I say. They're not even jokes. I've gotten into trouble because the internet is very political. It's very tense. One thing that I do think is going to keep doing well on Twitch is politics. I think politics will continue to grow. Whether it's Asmin or Hassan, I think it's going to continue to grow because people want to sit there and listen to every word you have to say. People want to be there, But when it comes to some dumb IRL stream that most people are doing, who cares? That's why what I decided to do is I'm not going to just do dumb shit anymore. Like drink Mr. Beast's milk chocolate, right? I'm trying to do other shit like I want to learn how to fix a car because that's something that I do think people will sit there and watch because you're not sitting there to just watch someone be parasocial or do parasocial stuff. You're sitting there because you want to learn. And I think that's one thing that especially I do think Twitch is dying, but I think that's one thing for my community that's very hard is they're all older now. So when I do that content, like,
drinking milk.
Let's do some parasocial shit. Like I hang out with you guys and I'm like, oh, whose sock is this? I don't know. I know whose sock it is. But anyway, it's like if I do stupid cringe shit, it doesn't do as well because my community is also older now. And they're like, man, we've seen you talk to women for 6 years. We know you're not getting laid. We know the story. For the new kids on the block, like the phase kids, yeah, of course it's interesting for them. They love this stuff. But for me, it's old.
Yeah.
And my community, I'm like, hey, I know what they want. They want to learn. They want to experience things. So I bought that Lambo, which I bought a Lamborghini, if people don't know, that's broken to fix up, to learn the whole process. And I've seen a lot of my older viewers coming back being like, Miz, I'm watching you again because you're learning, because I'm learning, because they're learning a trade. They're learning what the ins and outs of cars. Maybe they like cars. That's huge. And I think that's a way that you can really grow later in your life on Twitch because it's really hard to harness that young kid audience when, I'm 30. There were some kids today when I went to the car meet. They're like, yeah, dude, like, what's your average age? Like 12 to 20? I'm like, what the fuck? I don't no way. It's my audience like 30 years old because why would you watch me when I was a 12-year-old or 15-year-old kid, 30 was old man, Jenkins. You're not going to talk to him and his jalopy. You're going to talk to Jason the Ween is considered unk when you're 13. You're like, oh my God, that guy's 21. He can drink. What's drinking? I don't know. Wait, I know drinks. Mr. Beast protein. Oh, this thing is, what the fuck is this? This is terrible.
I just want to push back on one thing you said.
Mr. Beast?
Do you think there's any way that now you can manage your burnout better so that you could stream for longer in a way that's enjoyable versus like going so hard that a year and a half from now you feel like that's your timeline?
No.
Why?
I know myself.
Is it just you all or nothing?
Yes. I can't half-ass it. I won't be able to do something like, hey guys, I'm done trying as much. I'm just going to sit here and play Apex Legends while the chat is bored as fuck sitting there. And then one comment will be like, holy fuck, you're a dead streamer. And I'll just be like ignoring it, but it won't move for 4 minutes. So I'll be staring at this thing for 4 minutes. I can't do it. And I just know myself. My chat is very fast and active now. My community is very fast. I don't want to go from that to something slower because to me, that almost feels like I'm failed. It's like, I want to, if I'm going to go out, I just go out. Hey, I'm done. Calling it quits. And that will be probably in a year and a half.
How about you, Alex?
You guys don't stream.
Yeah,
let's say put yourself in Mizkif's shoes because I'd say you have a very similar all or nothing mentality. How's that change?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up getting so burnt out on streaming that I thought I was going to be done with content entirely. And, we got offered a big kickbag and we turned it down. We didn't want to keep streaming, even though it was on our way out. So it's like, do you want to get paid for streaming or not? And it was to the extent that we really didn't want to keep streaming that even that wasn't worth it. And instead, I realized that I would rather take less money now, not keep up momentum, and focus on content that I could see ourselves doing for the next 10 years and try to build it in a more sustainable way. Because like I personally could not continue living like that. And that's why we started things like the podcast. That's why I've been working on things that I actually care about, like the game. That's why Andrea is doing her vlogging and her DJing. What about you, Andrea?
What was the question for me?
Would you ever just quit content that's burnt you out entirely?
I don't think I experienced burnout to the extent you did. So I think it's...
But you were also burnt out from streaming.
Yeah, but I love so much what I do. And I think Did
you ever like streaming?
Yeah, I definitely did. I think similar to what Miz was saying. I think the first couple years, it felt like a community. Everyone kind of knew everyone. There was games to do. There was things to do. And then, okay, we just kept up. The community changed. And then it's like, okay, we're just streaming chess because there's nothing to do. And we're just streaming to the same group of people and things are just dwindling and you're not really using any of your strengths. And I just felt like I had more to offer.
I think you guys did everything right.
I think we got out at the best time.
I think you guys did the right thing. I think you guys have good shit going. You're DJing stuff and you and your tech chess and everything you touch.
Tech chess and everything you touch is a very funny way to describe it.
But I also know what, for me, it's a timeline too. Like I don't want to be, 37 years old and putting my hat backwards with the skateboard and going, what do you do, Phase Kids? Like I don't want to be, I'm 30 now and I sometimes feel old in that way. Once I feel that the content isn't there, I will leave because I don't want to experience that moment where I'm just like, I'm going live to go live. I've done that way too many times and my chat knows this. Every time I do, I'm upset and I'm bored. I'm not having fun. I don't make any jokes because I'm just like, this is not fun. I have no reason to stream anymore. I've made enough money. It doesn't do anything for me really. So I want to just do content until I feel like, yep, I'm done.
And now you're enjoying it, and that's why you're doing it.
Yeah, I love it. I love the car content. I'm learning. My brain feels like it's moving. That's one thing I hate about streaming and content creation in general is like you're supposed to cater to kids because that's who watches the most. You're supposed to cater to this younger crowd. And that's what Twitch is seen as, is let's try to dumb ourselves down so that way the common denominator puts a lol W in chat. When the truth is, there are so many other people out there that are willing to learn, that are willing to see things, that want to just watch to grow their own brain. But you got to figure it out. What can you do that will be interesting to chat? I can't just sit there and be like, chat, I love knitting now. This is fucking awesome. Because they'd be like, dude, this is boring. But cars are interesting. They could be seen as an investment. They could be seen as, leisure. You can get laid with a car. That's huge for Twitch chat, right? Which car can I get that's the cheapest that will make me fuck? So TwitchCon's coming up. Who knows what car you can get?
Are you going to TwitchCon?
I am going to. I have to go to TwitchCon under contract.
Actually, this is interesting because the other day I saw a clip of Cutie and Valky talking about how they don't feel comfortable going to TwitchCon because of the Charlie Kirk. I think obviously it's probably a little bit different for female streamers, but I guess Miz doesn't fear anything. But I do wonder how many less streamers are going to show up to TwitchCon now.
Wait, because of Charlie Kirk's death that they're not going to go?
Not as just more like fear of like it could just take one person. Like this is something I've been actually thinking about for so long, like with my DJ sets and doing a ton of public appearances where there's 2,000, 3,000 people in the crowd. I would often think back to Christina Grimmie, who was a YouTuber. She would do covers. She's a creator. Well, not really creator, more of an artist. And then a obsessive fan shot her at a show in Florida. And then like I remember my mom would call me and be like, you have to wear bulletproof vests to your DJ sets. And I think now it's actually becoming a genuine fear that's stopping streamers from going things to like TwitchCon. So I wonder how this year is going to be different.
It won't.
I don't know. I think if none of the big female streamers are going because they're not comfortable.
But why would the female streamers care? If any streamers should care, it should be Hassan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised if they do. I mean, maybe they think about it differently, but I feel like Hassan is definitely going to be more.
Here's how I see it, and this is the truth. If you want to kill someone, you can do it whenever you want. And that's just the truth. If you want to kill me, you could figure it out. It's not hard. I will be somewhere. You can figure it out.
I don't want to entertain this.
At least you'd get 50,000 viewers first, right?
True. But I do agree. I do know what you're saying. It's also like the idea is at TwitchCon, they might be able to get like a rise because there's more people and stuff like that. But there's also so much security. I'm sure Twitch is going to do even more security this year because of everything happening. But do I understand why they don't want to go? Yes. Me personally, I've just checked out of my brain like 6 years ago. Whatever happens, happens. I'll figure it out. Why are you saying no? That's because you care. You have things going on in your life, Andrea. Look at me.
Even joking about it, it's like I don't want to entertain it anyway because I just feel like, yeah, it's
make a lot
scary.
of death jokes too, and she doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm gonna change the topic.
Are you gonna go?
No, I'm terrified for the same reason. Like, I agree with you. There's security, but that doesn't matter. Like,
no,
like
I agree. It doesn't matter.
If they really want to, they will.
I think here's my truth, and I do feel like this. Streamers are getting so famous that yes, you have to start being concerned because we were at one point just like this small community of like live stream fails or this Twitch community that everyone knows streamers. I get stopped more now than I ever did, but I am not as popular as I was 2 or 3 years ago. Not even close. Why am I getting stopped more now? Why am I feel more popular? When I walk outside, I get stopped all the time. Why? Why do I get stopped now way more, even within a Waymo, than I did 3 years ago? Because clips. And they just assume you're super famous. So like, oh, you're the streamer. I'll get called sometime. I got called Aiden Ross the other day.
Do they? Yeah, exactly. They don't know you at all.
Oh, they don't.
That's what I think.
You're Mizka. I get that all the time. Mizki. Mizku. I get stuff all the time. And they don't know me because they just know me from a clip. So because of that, we've gotten so famous and popular that yes, I think people should be way more concerned and scared.
Do you feel like you're famous?
No, I'm not famous at all. Not at all. I would say I'm a pseudo celebrity. I'm like a well-known person on the internet. That's it. Like I'm not. Now the internet's everything nowadays, right? Celebrities are coming to us for a reason. They know we have that power. But do I think I'm famous? God, no. I don't feel famous at all. Fame to me is like you walk down that street, 9 out of 10 people look at you and go, that's him, right? I would say 1 out of 10 people look at me and they go, that's him?
Aiden Ross?
That's Aiden Ross? Yeah, I get that.
Do you think you ever had a big ego and then that changed?
Yeah, 100%. I think my ego got absolutely shattered. I would probably say my ego started to really go down before my cancellation. I think it started to really take a hit in like late 2022. I'd say like May. And I think my ego started to really drop because I started to lose confidence in myself a lot. And I would just do streams sometimes. I'm like, man, you didn't do anything funny. And they sat there and watched you the whole time, but you didn't do anything funny. Why were they there? They're there out of habit. I just started getting in my own head of like, I'm just not funny anymore. I'm not entertaining. And there's probably some guy in the comments that are just going to be like, yeah, true. It's not. But I really felt this way for a few years. And I realized it was just my ego. I had a huge ego. Like, oh, I'm Mizkif. I'm the shit. Now I'm Mizkif. I'm just shit. You know, whatever. It's Mizkif. I've come to realize that like I'm not really that big of a deal.
Interesting. I think strangling your ego is actually a really healthy thing, and that's something that I've been having to learn too.
No, I decimated mine. But the thing is, having an ego is important.
Or?
Oh, I didn't do it on purpose at all.
Well, it's interesting because when you talk about losing your ego, it's almost like you lost confidence. Like it sounds not productive. Like it doesn't sound good.
It was horrible.
But generally, I would say being egotistical is not good.
The thing is, being an egotistical streamer is peak because you have
peak for content or
peak for content, not for your mental.
It depends where you put your values then. Because if your values being a good person and treating people well,
I did not do that.
I know.
What do you mean
I remember you during your peak. That's why I asked you a question. You had a huge ego. The first time I met you was when we were streaming, and I remember you said some stupid shit about me on Ellis. You're like, she's so fucking loud and annoying. Everyone said that. And then you came and you're looking at my stream, and at the time I had more viewers than you, and then you did a competition till you had more viewers, and they're like, haha. And I remember I was like, this guy's got a really big ego. And I've seen it change over the years, but I definitely think.
Wait, what? You had more viewers than me?
Yeah, well, it was also, I was like, my first time streaming GTA, I literally just started streaming. But don't worry, you beat me quickly. And then you never looked again. Just kidding, I don't really remember.
I definitely looked.
But my point was, it's just, I definitely think, I mean, you've become, at least in my perspective, a much more likable person since that. But I guess it just depends. Because for streaming, is it good for streaming? No. Like when I look at all the big streamers, I'm like, the ego is insane. And sometimes when I see the interactions with people and the things that they get applauded with, I'm just like, this is what I don't really resonate with Twitch. But I guess it kind of correlates directly with viewership on Twitch. So
yeah, my ego got absolutely shattered. But I think a lot of streamers' egos need to get shattered. Because I think a lot of streamers feel that they're this powerful thing and they'll be at like 1,000 viewers with like.
Do you think you become a worse streamer if you're more humble? Or I don't think they're connected.
I think the only reason why I'm a worse streamer nowadays in any way is because I don't have the friends I used to have. And I don't have that ability. Like it's like a palette of colors. I don't have the palette to make jokes about a lot of people anymore because we're just not friends. Or this person cut me off, or I can't talk to these guys because I had the N-word 7 years ago, right? It's like these things have stopped me in so many ways of having friends that for me to make friends is it's hard to make jokes when you don't have friends around you, right? If it's just me in the chat, it's like, oh, what's the joke? I'm alone, right?
You can make fun of us.
That's too easy. That's not fun, really. It's just like, that's just such a simple thing to do, to make fun of you. It's not like oh, whoa, look at me, I made fun of the Botez sisters.
I don't know if you want to share this so you can decide whether or not, but when you left Austin, did you feel like you were leaving any real friends there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they still feel like real friends now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some real people on Twitch. There are some real people, like Wake Wilder is a real person. There's real people out there. I mean, it's just naming one of many. But
you've got one friend, congrats.
I've got one friend, which is way more than you thought. But there's real people out there. Like, it's just the fact that it's... yes, a lot of streamers have egos and they're egotistical, this and that, but that's because it's almost like it's into their brain, it's their world. Like I know how they're thinking. It's everything kind of does revolve around them, you know, their assistants, their life. They click the go live button, they're there for them. It's you're going to start feeling this little pressure of like, I'm in my own little kingdom. And that's what a lot of streamers feel. Mine got shattered because my kingdom got a bunch of, hammers thrown at it.
Well, then you can go ahead. What was the problem then that all your real friends were streamers?
The problem is I thought I had more friends than I did, but they all were backstabbing jackasses, terrible people.
But they were also all streamers.
Yes.
And I bet a lot of the backstabbing had to do with probably stream-related things.
Yes. I've learned over the years that streamers, it's almost impossible to really be friends. The truth is they're coworkers.
Yeah, maybe you should look outside the streamer circle for some friendship.
I did. That's why I'm at this podcast.
Exactly.
So you said you felt like you were not as good a person when you had more of an ego. Do you feel like you're a good person now?
Yes.
Why?
Because I genuinely believe that back then I used to treat friends that wanted to actually be my friends like shit. A lot of my old friends from when I was in high school who were very close to me, I had a very close group of friends that were like 7 people. I basically just threw them away. And now I'm close to them. We talk all the time. I sit in Discord calls with them.
Do you make amends?
it wasn't even amends. It was more so just like I hung out with these guys every day, and I just stopped going into Discord at all. And they're like, okay, you know, he's busy. They knew I was busy. It's not like they're like, go fuck this guy. They're like, he's trying to become Mizkif, right? But now I feel like I've taken such a step back, and I'm trying to become more of a human again. That no, we talk a lot. An example is this: my mom has been visiting me since I started, which was 2018, and she would come to my house every single time. And I would always, whether it was in Texas, whether I was in California, doesn't matter where I've been, I would always ignore her because I just cared about my stream more. Mom, I can't go out with you. I'm going to go and stream for 8 hours. And then afterwards I'll talk, which you know how it is. When you're done after 8 hours, what happens? You're tired. So I'm like, Mom, I'm tired. I'll hang out with you for an hour, but I'm going to go to bed. So we might watch a show on Netflix and then I'll go to bed. So she would come all the way to Texas to hang out with me for like 3 or 4 days. And she might get maybe 6 hours with me in total. And it's like, that is something that I hated, but I was just so in this zone of, I got to do better. I got to make more. I got to have content. My mom came out. She's gay. My mom came out to California, perfect place to be gay. She came out and with my dad, and they stayed at my place. I literally told my chat, guys, I'm taking off for the next 4 days. And I did. I literally didn't even stream. I just sat there and I just sat with my parents. Went to Barnes & Noble. We got clothes. We got coffee. We did crossword puzzles for hours and just sat there with each other because she loves doing that. And on the day that she was supposed to leave, I was sleeping and she knocks on my door and she just opens it. It's like 6 a.m. She's about to go on her flight and she just tells me to get up and she just gives me a huge hug and she's crying and she says, thank you. I'm like, for what? She's like, thank you for actually paying attention to us this time. And I was like, thank you, Mom. I appreciate that.
That's really sweet. If you knew this going back to when you were streaming all the time, would you have changed anything when your parents came over?
Fuck no. I was trying to make money.
So then are you really a good person now, or did your circumstances just change and you're reacting differently as a result of that?
Well, I'm reacting to this by joking. Yes, I would honestly change it. Because back then I was always so scared. I was very scared of, if I walk away, will they leave? I would be scared back then that if I took a day off, that I would lose my viewers. Because that's how we all felt. We were like, oh my God, like, what happens if I just even take a day off? We didn't know. This was back when Twitch was kind of just growing and we were kind of the pioneers. What happens if you take for a week off? Do your viewers come back? I don't know. We don't know. Will they go to someone else? That was the fear, right? You wanted people to get in a repetition of watching your stream every day. So if I took off for 4 days, I didn't know if my viewers are going to come back. They might think like, whoa, I found Ludwig. And I'm like, that's the last place I want you to go, buddy. Get the fuck back here. But I would fear that, right? Because that's how this game goes. Mm-hmm. But I've learned over time that like my viewers are going to be there. And even if they're not, who cares? So it's a different perspective. And also it's a realization that, you know, it's not everything to have these viewers. And if they're going to leave you after 4 days, they are probably finicky viewers no matter what. And my viewers have been, some of them have been watching me now. I get subs all the time now for 90 months.
Wow.
85 months. They've been there for years. They're not going to leave me because I'm taking 4 days off to go see my parents. Right. So for them, 1000%, I will take off now for both those reasons.
When do you feel like you're most genuinely happy?
Good question. I feel genuinely the most happy when I'm seeing someone else laughing at my whatever I just did.
So streaming then? Or just, I guess, in person making people laugh?
The thing is, both. When I know I say something witty and funny on stream, I feel really good because I'm like, damn, I made them laugh. But it's also like in person feels really good too, right? Like when I see someone genuinely laughing at my joke in person, like a real laugh, not like the fake laugh that Alex will give the billionaires trying to get money. Like a real laugh.
Kidding.
Like that makes me very happy. So that really is the most purest thing in my life is when I see someone smile. And that's the one thing when it comes to streaming. It's like, yeah, well, if you give up streaming, what's going to happen? These guys understand your jokes. What are you going to do? I don't know.
Are you going to stand up? Or you write a book?
Maybe. I mean, I might go to stand up.
Consume your art.
Maybe I could become a late night talk show host. Now there's one spot open.
You could be the next Jimmy Kimmel.
I'd rather be Conan O'Brien. I don't want to be Jimmy Kimmel. I've gotten canceled enough too. Don't want to deal with that.
But speaking of being happy, do you feel like you're happy now?
Happier. You got to think of it as like, you ever watch SpongeBob? No, you were reading books.
No, I did a little.
A little. Do you remember season 2, episode 16, when Kevin the Sea Cucumber looks down at some of his fans that are at the bottom of the mountain and they say, "We love you, Kevin"?
No.
You don't remember that?
That's really specific.
So I am like those fans right now, or I was those fans when I was suicidal, right? Think of it as like a tier list, and like the F tier, Mr. Beast protein that we rated. Remember that? That's where like my brain was at. It was at F tier. It's at like a C now. So like, am I happy? Sometimes I'm pretty happy. I feel those moments, right? But there's some times where I get pretty down and depressed still. But it's getting better. You know, hopefully next year I'm at B and maybe there's some C's and some A's.
Do you care about being happier long term?
Yeah, I do. Of course, everyone does. I'm funnier when I'm happier. Some people are funnier when they're depressed. That's not me. I'm funnier when I'm happy. I'm funny because when I'm depressed, I'm just like I can't even look at people. But when I'm funny is when I'm happy. So yeah, I want to be happy.
Is there anything you're actively doing to feel happier otherwise than streaming less and planning to retire in 2 years?
Gym.
Are you getting back into it?
Yeah, I go 7 days a week.
We can tell.
Can you actually?
No. That's why I said it sarcastically.
The fuck?
No,
you can't make jokes anymore.
I mean, you look the same. Your arms look good, but they look the same that they did 6 months ago. But that's
called maintaining.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think it's easy to maintain this?
No, you're right.
What is wrong with you? No, I don't go 7 days a week. I go like 5. But
it's better than me.
I know.
Thanks.
I could tell. You look the same you did 6 months ago.
Probably I haven't changed.
But a gym is the most important because it reduces my cortisol levels, which my family has anger issues. It also really helps out with just reducing that stress, letting your body, the tenseness just calm down a lot. My heart rate has went from 70 average like beats per minute to like 60. I feel very calm a lot. Things don't really bother me. So gym is the most important thing by far. Gym is the reason why I could talk right now. If I didn't go to the gym multiple times a week, I'd be so tense after streams that I would just want to sleep and hopefully it goes away or jerk off. So I'd be jerking off right now.
With the Coomers.
With the Congress Coomer, yes.
What advice would you have to people who are going through deep depression?
Fuck. I mean, if they're going through some deep depression, what can you do? Don't have Mr. Beast protein. I can tell you that. Next thing I'd tell you is
never getting invited to another Mr. Beast video ever.
If you're very depressed and you're very sad, it does get better. Like, I really didn't think so. And that's what everyone always says is like, oh, well, does it really? I don't think. Yes, it gets better. It is very tough, but you have to look at every day like one more step closer to your happiness. You're not happy today. You won't be happy tomorrow. You won't be happy next week or even the month after. But every step is a closer and closer to getting out of that hell. So that's what I would say your advice is just take a little bit every day to fix your brain, and it can go a long way. Why are you guys so silent when I speak? I'm not some like wisdom speaking God. You can find all this crap on ChatGPT.
So you've been doing a lot of things to improve your own happiness, but is there anything that you think about on a day-to-day for other people's happiness?
I mean, I have a huge platform to make people laugh.
So that's how you see where you give back.
Well, think of it this way. I have the ability to go live and to entertain, if I'm in a good mood, a stadium of people from whoever it is around the world. That's insane.
Okay, I agree with this, but you're still benefiting from it because you're obviously still like maintaining and getting a career. So any things where you're not necessarily getting like a transactional reward.
Not getting a transactional reward. I mean, hell, this podcast. Like, I do things sometimes just to make people laugh because I just like to go. I knew I wouldn't. Like, I'm not going to benefit like crazy from this. I just wanted to go to.
You never know.
Entertain you guys and have fun.
I think he's doing this to help.
No, I agree.
For his benefit.
Yeah, I do things all the time. I mean, I love. My cleaners would come over my house and I would just sit with them for like 5 hours and just watch their kid named Victor play Fortnite.
Andrea, what do you think you do to do good to other people?
I mean, honestly, it's not an easy question to answer, but I think it's just something I think about more on a day-to-day. I mentioned this a little bit, but we had an episode where we went really deep into religion, and I listened to a full book about religion, which I never did.
Or
And
spirituality.
Spirituality, that's a better way to phrase it. And it was the first time that I realized, I was like, honestly, I do think obviously through the years, I'm trying to be a better person every day. And often that is just in how I treat people I know and loved ones. So I think the next step is, okay, something where it's not directly you're getting a benefit. But
you didn't benefit one day when you came over and talked to me.
Yeah, but you're still someone I know and care about. So I guess like the greater question, but I do think honestly having like I think right now having content that actually helps people is possibly like the best thing you can do in the moment.
Well, I've noticed you're nicer to me. Like sometimes you bring me fruit while I'm working.
I genuinely try to like be a better sister. Like honestly,
I've
on a
noticed,
micro,
and it's really helpful.
like,
I love
it.
it.
There's things that really trigger me, and one of them is sharing my snacks with my sister. And this is because someone at home really influences me, and they're really good at sharing. They're like, you need to share with your sister and tell her you love her. And when you make an apple, you got to cut one for her. And it like pains my soul to go and do one for my sister, but I'm generally trying to do more things for her because I'm like, I want to try to be a more caring person and treat people with more love.
Should I have brought you an apple?
Okay, you showed up 5 minutes
you
early,
showed up.
so you brought
That's
us
okay.
enough apples.
Yeah, that was something you did, and that was nice, by the way.
That was
Just-
really caring. I know.
You were 10 minutes late.
I know. I've gotten better at that, but I know being on time is not respectful of people's time, and it's something I try sometimes, but I still fail. But you know, I still bring apples.
As long as you don't do it to your sister, it's fine. You can do it to me all you want.
He
What do I have to
does
do?
it to me.
What is it, a Saturday?
No, I know. It doesn't feel like a Saturday.
So what does your social life look like since you moved to LA?
That's a really good question because I basically left everybody I know behind and I now live in LA. So what has happened? Well, stream-wise, I really don't talk to a lot of people because I have reached out to some content creators and they're like, yeah, we'll hang out. And then it just never happens. And I'm like, okay, I understand. I think the big problem is I don't think people really hate me or anything like that. I think just people have their circles now and that's it. And I think between all the dramas and everything that's happened over the years, everyone just has their circles and they're just like, I'm not going to collab out of it. I don't care. I also think a lot of our older friends on Twitch just really don't want to do collaborations anymore.
I don't think it's that they don't want. I just think they don't care about like anything more than themselves, and they're happy where they are.
Right. Like, is it really worth me to go do this collaboration with Mizkif when what is it really?
But they're also really busy.
Yeah,
No,
of course.
they're busy.
That's my point. They're busy.
And then, you know, for some of them, it's like, I'm not going to hang out with a 20-year-old. I just don't want to do it. So I'm trying to venture out and hang out with different kind of content creators in whether it's music or something. I hang out with Dax Flames a lot, like this Instagram guy that's funny. But social life has actually been way better here. I mean, it's not even comparable. I lived in the middle of fucking nowhere in Texas.
What's been a highlight of your social life here?
I mean, hell, like I'm just gonna go to. I mean, I could probably say it like Jason Derulo's birthday party.
Are you actually excited about
No, we
that?
have
That sounds
to
pretty
go.
cool.
We got invited.
We all have to wear white.
We have to wear white?
Yeah.
That's fine with me. It's not just that stuff. I've met a lot of people outside of this streaming community that are just unique. It's just new adventures. I'm meeting people. I talk to this girl. I talk to that guy. I hang out with this person. It just feels like I'm learning things about different sections. One of my best friends is into K-pop and she listens and she's part of the K-pop group and she knows like Blackpink and all these people. It's like I'm learning things that aren't just stream, analytics, content, stream, you know, and when you're stuck in that world, it just feels like there's nothing else you can do to claw out. But I just left and I feel so much better. I go to parties and yeah, some people recognize me, but a lot of times I'm just talking to people to talk, not talking to be like, you know, did you see this stream? Someone said it to me about their own friend group on Twitch. And they're like, I'm just tired of being part of like season 9, episode 42 of the show. And I want to learn new things and do new stuff. And LA to me has been this whole new group of people and learning things. Like I learned that Austin Show's gay. I didn't know that until I moved in with the guy for 3 months. I learned that homeless people really do fucking pee everywhere and they just go in your garbage. I was literally outside on the phone with my mom and the guy's just like, yup. And he just goes to my garbage can. I'm like, dude, I just put this thing down. I could have just given you the garbage. Like, I don't know what the guy thinks. He probably look at me and go, he's not getting any leftovers.
Thought you're one of his.
Maybe he thought he was like, are you done with that one? I'm going to check.
No, but genuinely hearing your experience in LA is nice because I remember for us, the first year, it was just, okay, you have a way more breadth of people. So you're meeting people all the time, but you're not actually getting deeper relationships. And it took like 2 years to realize, oh, I actually want to have like closer connections to people rather than meeting a lot of people. But it sounds like your first year in LA has been actually getting deeper connections with people.
Yeah, it has. Like quick, instantly. Like I've close friends. I've got close friend groups that are not even on stream. I go out every weekend. I do things with people. I feel like my life is pretty much what I want it to be, which is I have a separate life from Twitch that people aren't streamers, which is nice. Because it always feels very weird being a Twitch streamer that's popular and then there's other people around you because it's such a different world. If someone's like a and this doesn't sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but like in other industries, you could be like even a big YouTuber. You could be a huge YouTuber and then someone else is kind of small. You're not going to directly benefit that person by just being friends with them, right? But as a streamer, because your viewers are very parasocial, yes. If someone becomes close friends with me, they can see a couple hundred viewers, which can be the world to them. That could change their career. So it's always been very hard for me to make friends in like the Austin area as much or like other areas because of that with this whole streaming shit. But nowadays I'm friends with so many people outside of streaming that are like, I don't want to stream. It's like, yeah, I want to hang out with you. You know, I've hung out with them for years. I want new people and experience stuff. It's been very refreshing.
If you could separate your identity as Mizkif, but keep all the fame and the numbers when you go live, but let's say everyone who you meet IRL in person, that identity is completely anonymous, would you do it?
No, because I don't understand your question.
So let's say like every friend you meet in person, Mizkif doesn't exist, but you still get to keep the fame and the money and the stream.
No, hell no. I still want to be Mizkif once in a while. Like when, if it's nice to walk down the street and someone's like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm like, yeah, what's up? It's nice to see you. And then my friend goes like, damn, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I know.
And what about the haters? How do you deal with them?
I used to care so much. I'm not going to pretend that I'm one of those people that are like, no, I don't care. Yes, you do. Like people always be like, I don't care about haters, this and that. They always say that and they are the ones that care the most because it is a lot. Anyone that wants to pretend that it's not a lot to get hate, it's never endeared hate online, and it could be a lot. I have dealt with more hate than almost anyone I know that isn't a political streamer. I would say probably more than anyone I know. Between cancellations, attacks, fights, dramas, arguments, hate, I truly don't care anymore. Like I literally yesterday got a 5,000 upvoted hate thread about me on live stream fails. I didn't even look at it. I slept last night. It didn't even pay attention.
So the solution is not reading into it.
Or maybe it's because you've gotten so much, like at some point your receptors are just going to stop working and reacting to stuff because you've just been so used to it.
I just know it doesn't matter. I just know I'm going to go live the next day and who gives a fuck? Because truly, who cares? Especially nowadays with how everything's going where, you'll find out one day you like someone and the next day they're a rapist. And you're like, all right, well, how am I supposed to constantly deal with this stuff and constantly see all this news and be able to process any of it nowadays? I just know I'm not that bad of a person. So whatever this is that you hate me for today, you won't think about it tomorrow. And they don't, because news is way too fast now. So it doesn't matter.
Do you think you've gotten more confident in yourself over the years? Because you said you had a big loss of confidence. But
oh yeah, I'm more confident now.
What built it back up?
The gym, for sure. Going to the gym, working out. I think really feeling myself as a content creator, like, damn, you've been through a lot and you're still going and your chat's still fast and you feel good. Like, it's nice because it's a feeling of like not necessarily relying on them, but more so saying to myself, like, you still survive despite all the bullshit that's happened to you.
So looking back at that cancellation that was really dark, do you regret that it happened, or do you think it made you who you are today?
I wish it never happened, and I will never pretend. I wish I had a huge ego right now that was sitting on this couch telling you to hurry the fuck up because I got to go do a Cash App sponsor, okay?
I did not miss that, Miz.
I would wish I never...
I like you a lot better now.
I hear that all the time, that people like me a lot now, but I'm not going to pretend that that was the worst 2 years of my life, and I would never want that.
You never want that, but you want to be the same person you were then.
I don't think I would have been that forever because at some point I would have hit, something would have happened, but I don't think the way it went down, I would never have wanted that. I mean,
do you think like there's just leftover trauma from it that's still negative impacting you?
Oh yeah, every day. Every day. My eyes are not as blue as they used to be because of trauma. I've lost a piece of myself that will never come back. And I know that. It's a scar.
What
But,
piece of yourself did you lose?
my hope in people, my belief that people are good. I think most people are terrible. I think most
Do you think
people.
that belief can ever come back?
No, I think I've learned too much about
Time
how
for us to introduce you to some of our LA friends.
what.
Like people who are genuinely good and will restore
There are
your
good
faith
people.
in humanity.
There are good people, but I think what I've learned a lot is people look out for themselves at the end of the day because that's what we're supposed to do. And that's just the truth. And I think I trusted people a lot back then. I would give people second chances a lot back then. And it was always a mistake. Everyone that I gave a second chance to always just took it and ran with it and just did something shitty. I was too good to people that didn't deserve it. And that's my biggest flaw. And if that's your biggest flaw, then really like is that bad? No, but that's what got me canceled. I trusted people and they ruined my life.
Is there anything that would restore your faith in humanity a little bit or make you be less jaded towards?
Mr. Beast fixed his protein shake. He made it at least a D or C. Well, it's an F right now in our eyes, right? Hopefully he gets that thing up, but we'll see. If he can do that, I'd be happy. Maybe get rid of one of his veneers. I don't know. Look, I love Jimmy. He'll probably watch some of the shit and be like, Miz is just a dumb fuck, but I like him a lot as a person.
What do you like about him?
I think Jimmy's one of the most hardworking, creative people I've ever met in my life. And he's also a fucking baller when it comes to his work schedule and his work. And I know he'll make that chocolate good. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I thought this was bad forever. I know he's going to make it good. He's a genius. And his team behind him is godlike. But right now, yeah, that chocolate sucks. That's why Ludwig said the same thing. It's not good.
Do you think you respect someone more for their amount of success or their morals?
I think that's a really good question. I think it's both. I think I do respect people for their success, but I also do respect others who might not have as much success, but also have better morals.
What's
or
more important
both.
to you personally?
I think by far it's morals. I respect someone with their morals. I'll put it to this way. I'll sit in a room with someone for 10 minutes and pay attention to them nonstop if they have success, but I will hang out with someone for an hour and maybe pay attention a little bit less if they have morals. Meaning that I'd rather be around people who have morals, but when it comes to success, I'd rather be listening because I can learn something from that. But morals, I'd rather hang out with them.
And what would you define as good morals?
I think it's someone that is willing to, whenever they're maybe doing something for themselves, they think of someone else besides themselves or others. I think it's someone that truly can look around and see that people need help and if they want to help others. Because a lot of people do just genuinely care about only themselves and will pretend that they care about others. And because I know I have morals. I care about other people. I care about making people laugh and entertained. I care about, how they feel. I try to help people a lot. I try to help friends with money, with things. I'm helping my brother right now with that. So I do care a lot about others. But, and those kind of people I'd rather hang out with. It's probably why you're like, oh, I like Miz now. Yeah, because my morals have shifted. But I also at the same time don't trust people as much, and I shouldn't. And I have learned a lot about people in general, where I do think a lot of people, especially in the industry, are very shitty, and they're just willing to throw you down for nothing. I mean, you guys know that. That's how it goes. This is supposed to be Steak and Eggs podcast. What the fuck is this? I was told steak and eggs. What the hell?
What happened? Why did you stop having your own podcast? You had
just
steak
chatting
and eggs. You had just chatting. You tried one with Pokimane.
Well, the Pokimane one was always a joke. It was like, oh, we're Poking Mizkif podcast, but like she wanted me to move to LA at the time, and I'm like, I can't. And then,
but now it's too late.
It's too late. I mean, we're clearly not going to do that. I don't know why. I mean, I don't have any problem with Pokimane. It's not going to happen. But what was I going to say? Yeah, the steak and eggs. That's not me.
I know. It's just us. Yeah, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
What was Steak and Eggs?
Emmy's podcast.
Oh.
But the podcast that I did was just chatting, where I would do one-on-ones, and it actually was good. But the problem was I was in Austin.
Well, now you're in LA.
Yeah, now I could do it.
You can come share our lovely studio.
But it was so boring because I just sat there and I'm like, who am I interviewing? Streamer number 32.
That makes sense.
And it's in Austin, Texas. So they're like, yeah, I had like a group of people that were like, dude, we could find you people. I'm like, okay, find me someone. Here's musician number 6 who played this little light of mine in 2004. Great. I don't want to interview you. I want to interview celebrities or entertainers.
You could do it in LA.
Of course I can. LA is somewhere I can look. I would not be doing this car content if I was in Austin. I would be doing, chat. Let's go and do a scavenger hunt to find Chuck E. Cheese. And like, I'd be featuring Extra Emily. Like, I would be doing that. Where can I still do that for another few more years? Yes. But can I do that forever? No. It's every year I do it, I feel cringier. My chats like stop. So I came to LA for a new chapter. It's like, yeah, I'm learning cars. We're learning cars.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more, we have a Patreon. We post 3 episodes there per month. Also, we have a Patreon-only Discord server where we talk about upcoming episodes. We get feedback. It's really fun and interactive. There's also behind-the-scenes stuff. All right, well,
guys, Miz, thanks for coming on to Steak and Eggs.
Miz, before you leave, is there anything you want to say or ask?
Ask what not your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
That was nice.